Mandy and Dev, they spoke about how both of these teams, they like this map personally, but also just how the map fundamentally functions. You can play actively both on defense and on attack. It's somewhat strat heavy and strat reliant, but it also speaks to gunplay and coordination. So it's a great place to kind of warm up this best of 3 for both teams, and then we go to more structured maps such as Clubhouse and Cafe.
You think it's fair to say, as we watch the operator bans roll in, that there will be no shortage of Twitch bans with the changes that they made to her? Do you think that this is not an optimal operator to be removed by MNM Gaming?
I think Twitch is going to be a stable ban throughout this tournament. Solace as well is something that I expect to get banned as time progresses. Today, Solace has just kind of gone through and escaped the ban phase. I think that's going to change to come day 3 and 4 and forward.
Would you care to elaborate on that for the...
You want me to elaborate on it? Well, if you saw the WCW earlier, Castle, bit of a target ban there. I mean, Solace is the newest operator in Rainbow Six Siege, and it's basically like an IQ on defense that can see anybody using their gadgets, people that are droning, where the drones are, and as we all know, information game is such an important thing at the competitive level of Rainbow Six Siege. So being able to shut that down, figure out where it is, and there we go, first round, Solace on the board, because it is just that good.
Yeah, what a shock. The operator being brought in, as you said, an IQ on defense, has a gadget that can see active drones, active gadgets, and then also be able to spot them for your team. She is incredibly good at the moment, and when information tends to be the name of the game, drone denial is so critical. We went through an entire year of Mute and Mozzie being the meta solely because they prevented the attackers from being able to gain information and know where best to attack from. Solace does the same thing, and while yes, technically, she is unable to shoot back when her gadget is out, you can still put it away and do some serious damage. And she doesn't exactly have a bad kit either. I know that the weapon is kind of tucked away on the 2 GIGN operators. The P90 is the SMG that you will see P4 running on Solace right now. You're going to run the MP5 if you're playing Doc and Rook most of the time, but the P90 is certainly not bad. It's just outclassed on those 2 operators. Good kit, good gadget. Solace is very flexible and is applicable on pretty much every bomb site here in Chalet.
Also worth noting now, with the extended barrel buff, essentially, it doing 15% more damage for every single bullet. Some weapons are going to see more play now than in previous patches. The P90 is one of those weapons where just getting 15% more damage throughput is going to give you a sway in some gunfights.
There's the gadget being shown off perfectly by P4, not just catching Usis' drone, but also where he is while on that drone. It's the same as you see from IQ. When a defender is on their phone, as you see, whether they're watching an outside cam or if they're on their drone, they're visible by those electronics. An abundance of artillery thrown in now. Mowgli being called out by the Dokkaebi. Just playing by his Kiba barrier. Uses the very first kill for MNM, and the very first kill in this series. P4 is down for the count. We only got to witness a minute of that Solace on the board.
MNM are known historically for a very good team at getting opening kills, but not that great at actually converting it into a round victory, so they might have the lead right now, but historically, they throw it away shortly after.
Oh, I felt, oh man. That was, you feel the blood start to flow there. You get those little squeals? Because that was a hell of a play by Mowgli, and if I'm MNM, I'm a little unhappy with that one. Taking out 2 very serious contenders on that team, both the Dokkaebi and the Buck removed from action. Heartbreach still in the hands of Nello, as MNM have made space inside of the main lobby. Not all of them in the building just yet.
And now Wolves, I mean, you see it on your screen, they can fall back and be passively on the bomb side. 3 Toxic Babes, Yokai Jones and Pocket of Rise. They lost P4, the most active member of the squad, so to speak, but they still have a minute to go. And, you know, the attackers of MNM had to go through the map, clear out Ivy, Chimney, etc., breach open that hard wall towards the bomb side, and they don't have Dokkaebi to hack the phone, so that opening comes to P4, it doesn't really give them any real advantage now.
Still have secondary heart breach as well from Usis. Zero being a very flexible operator on this map, and right now has an incredible kit, frankly. All of those Argus cams, Sam cams as they are lovingly referred to as, have been expended. As Usis will watch the exothermic charge go off, leading into office. A long line of sight towards the B-bomb chassis, but not a lot of time to work with for this MNM attack. And Mowgli is putting in serious work. He takes 4 members of MNM down before Usis is silenced by Bibu, and it might not have been a team effort in terms of kills, Strategy-wise, it was. Wolves will be happy with their performance in that first round.
I mean, it's no secret that Mowgli is probably the player to look at on Wolves' side here, but having such a phenomenal opening round in the very first game for his team, single-handedly turning the tide when they lost that early advantage when P4 fell as the opening death, that really sends a message to MNM. They cannot mess around, and they need to get better at converting that opening kill percentage into an actual round victory, because this is consistently a problem for them, not just for this tournament or the previous or stage 3 or 2, the entire year in domestic play of EUL, this has been their #1 enemy.
Oh, good lord. How long has it been since you and I casted together, by the way? It's been...
Well, we did Young Shipping Major.
Yeah, which was...
November.
November.
And then it was NAL a while before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NAL was in October.
Yeah.
It's good to be back, man.
It is good to be back.
Good to be back.
Not just to be back, but to be back at a place we've been before.
And it's not even us.
No,
It's nice
not
to be
even.
back from Tim being back is especially nice.
That as well.
We have had the misfortune of a number of tragic things that have happened in Rainbow Six over the last couple years, obviously. And the health concerns surrounding Tim, aka Ace of Pyrite, were added to that list and are probably some of the more recent that jumped to mind. But to have him back here in action, to be able to see him, to be able to physically give him a hug and tell him in person that I'm glad that he's doing well, and
yeah,
seems like he is back in as perfect condition as he can be, is really, really heartwarming. And I, just as from one caster to another, getting to hear him and Dez cast that match earlier today, Koi versus G2, it was quite a treat. That said, round number 2 underway. It's a downstairs defense in the basement, not on that main floor. Main breach already opened up in the first 45 seconds. Not bad timing for MNM, but if you look on the side of Wolves, outside of a single mute jammer, not much denial for them to contend with. It's entirely possible that P4 has put most of those jammers somewhere else, as a Thatcher remains on the board, and you also have those pocket EMPs too, so a mute jammer would not be long for this Earth. Solotov throws out an nade, takes some damage in the process.
Not just that, but Wolves are very much actively roaming on this Chalet basement defense, right? There are 3 members that are not on the bomb side itself, 2 members holding it down. Bibu, playing that flex player, is playing the in-between role, half on bomb side, half on the roam, and MNM either have to make a push onto the bomb side, make an aggressive play to force these roamers back, or they to go back upstairs to roam clear. With half the round gone, they don't really have an option to choose between anymore. They have to just hit the side and win their gunfights, because with Wolves having this roam presence, they shouldn't be able to just walk in like you normally could on a Chalet basement attack.
It's Tyrant taking some serious damage, as Rise is the only one off of the board at the moment. The first minute took a while. Solotov sees another, and I believe he smacks the booty, Nick. Mowgli goes down as well. MNM, a mirror of what we saw out of Wolves previously. A complete opposite performance, as it's now MNM looking formidable, not losing a single player, though some have taken their lumps. Tyrant is a small gust of wind away from the afterlife. Final 45 seconds. Shinka posted up inside of blue, watching that wine breach. A little bit farther back, you've got Bibu as well. Ton of noise being made by MNM as Nello walks in, gets diffuser in hand. Shinka cannot escape his position, and neither can Bibu. MNM answer back with a flawless round to tie things up.
And really good discipline as well from MNM's side. They get an advantage for once, they hold on to it, and then they just wait for 20 seconds. They drone out the remaining defenders on the map. Okay, they're both on the bomb side. That means that we can just walk on in, start establishing that plant, and now they swing, we get the kills, a bomb goes down, and we can successfully defend that post plant in the 5 versus 2. Worst case scenario. And they did actually do a mixture of both, right? They got that bomb site direct presence, which then forced the roamers to go from the top floor down to that first floor, and people got close to the bomb site. Then MNM walked up the West Main stairs in towards Kitchen Dining West Main, and they got 2 picks, and that really just snowballed around out of control in their favor. Wolves, they do like to play the game on kind of like 2 different ways. One is the more strategical, okay, the enemy needs to problem solve. That's kind of what these mirror strategies are going to be functioning around. Okay, this is going to be annoying to deal with. It's a lot of disturbance for MNM. They gotta use smoke grenade utility to clear it out. The other aspect is what we saw in round number 1. It's the aggression, where you choose an area to just hold and you just fight for your life throughout the entire round. That was when Mowgli got that 4K, which, well, he didn't get a single kill in the previous this round. So aggression so far seems to work best for Wolves, but it is only the beginning of round number 3. There's still much more to go.
If you look at the way that these two teams have played over the last year or so, they've collided on 4 occasions in 3 best-of-1s and 1 best-of-3. All the way back in stage 1 when they were going under LFO, it was MNM to win a squeaker of a matchup 8-7 on Villa. In stage 2, Wolves won on Cafe 7-2. Stage 3, they both went back to Villa, but it was Wolves who persevered this time by a score of 7-2. The EUL finals went for MNM 2-0, a 7-2 on Cafe and a 7-3 on Skyscraper. So, these teams like to play Villa and Cafe against each other.
Yes.
And Cafe will be the tiebreaker should we get there, so that'll be fascinating to watch. MNM obviously losing the first bout on Cafe 7-2, but then winning the second one, a follow-up contest 7-2. So they will be in good shape. And the EUL finals were not that long ago, whereas stage 2 feels like an eternity ago. So MNM will clearly have the upper hand just based on recency.
Also, in most matchups, you mentioned the scorelines, it was very one-sided, right? 7-2, 7-1, 7-3. It's a single order.
Blowouts.
Sure.
Most of these matches have been blowouts.
Exactly. I don't think that's to be expected this time around, to be fair. Different story. Just goes through.
These maps could be blowouts. We'll see. Nello has good coverage. They teams trade out. P4 and Nathan Roth on the board. Mowgli and Solotov now get on the board. Mowgli another coverage from above as Wolves Rise goes for the run out, guns them all down. Tyrant close enough but makes a ton of noise.
Wow.
He gets shut down by Bibu. The strategy seemed good from MNM. They had the coverage they desired, but Wolves not conceding that top floor, had the angles to play outside of the building, and they clean up very quickly on that post plant, get the diffuser as well to regain the lead.
It looked, at a glance, it looked like MNM just were going to steal that round, because once the execute goes through that, you jump in through the window, no one's on that stock mirror, there's no C4s on the plant, no toxic babes, etc. And once the plant successfully goes down, you can win that in a 2 versus 4 as the attackers, from playing outside the building essentially on that post plant position. But Wolves, they retake it so well. They basically give up the bomb site almost voluntarily, which is very uncommon in Rainbow Six Siege. And a statistic that is kind of different when it comes to Wolves is that they have one of the worst statistics when it comes to how often the enemy will plant against them when Wolves are on the defense. And what that means is that teams just really commonly will get the bomb down, but Wolves' success rate as a team obviously is quite successful, both domestically and not that great internationally, but they make it to quarters typically. So despite teams planting against them very frequently, they still win a lot of those retake rounds, which is very uncommon for any team in this game. So who knew that just letting the enemy get what they want, you can actually benefit from that yourself. It's atypical.
You watch all the companion streams that have been going on recently, whether it's Super, whether it's Fresh, whether it's Jesse, and Laxing has been doing a lot of them as well. These companion streams where you have some experienced players go over it, it's always fascinating to see the way that they cut into the retake strats that teams will plan out. Now, all the way back in round number 1, if you can recall, the bomb site was upstairs in this bedroom office, and we got a good look of P4 on Solus. The operator has not come back out since, and might as well not have returned, as P4 dies a very early death, and 45 seconds in, Shinka will join him. Suddenly, with over 2 minutes left in this round, MNM Gaming have a ton of breathing room in a 5v3.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the game right now, this is a round where statistically, it's over, right? Now the members of Wolves, they just have to go absolutely nuclear. This is where you don't think about risk versus reward. You just think about pulling back this round from a lost position in this 3 versus 5. They need to get aggressive now.
It's like they say, it's 3v5 or 5v3, the most dangerous lead in Rainbow Six Siege.
Well, certainly.
This is where you see teams start to get kind of dumb. Things get real stupid, real ignorant, real fast, Nick. Take chances, and you're correct about that. When you are at such a disadvantage, if you try to play safe, you don't have an advantage in terms of numbers, you likely don't have an advantage in terms of gadgetry, you're going to get droned out, and the utility from the opponents will almost certainly be better than yours. You have to go for the swings. You have to go for runouts, jump outs, take gambles, and try to walk away from it. Now, MNM have read into this correctly, as most experienced teams will, and realize that you take 40 seconds, you do discovery, and then you get your chess pieces in the right spots on the board. Solotov commanding those library stairs by Solarium. Mowgli trying to hold off at least 2 separate players. As there goes the Firebolt, softening up Bibu. Mowgli cannot contest against Solotov again, who almost goes for a second. Bibu takes one down, but that's about it. This is a seesaw of a match, and it seems like you might have been correct with your assessment, where you said, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. And so far, with the way these rounds have played, certainly seems like they are relatively evenly matched.
And to make it even better, it's a best of 3, which means that even if a team ends up having a wonky performance or doesn't exactly show up, or whatever the case might be, first game jitters, right? We have at least 1 more map after the first one, possibly 2 more maps to go if we go the distance. There's not really any excuses to be said here where, oh, it was an early match, or oh, you know, we were nervous, or whichever. You can work through all these problems in a single best of 3 scenario and just take the first map as your warm-up, say, all right, look at the next 2. But the point system, or the point distribution system rather, you want to get a 2-0 victory as much as possible to get those 4 points on the board to get like ahead of your group. So sacrificing a map for whatever reason or for first game jitters, it's definitely not ideal. But of course, unlike other majors this year, you're not going to outright lose just by losing the first match.
I'll tell you this much.
Okay.
You don't need to be current undefeated SI coach Fabian.G2 to know that P4 going 1-4
it's not great.
Isn't a recipe for success.
No. Especially when you're playing an active operator like Solis, where you only get real value, well, 2 of the rounds, you only get real value by actually being alive. That's even worse, right? If you're a Rook or a Jaeger, we can put down your utility, and you die early, it's not the end of the world. You can watch cameras and stuff, give information, come up with ideas. When you're playing active operators like Vigil or Solis, where your gadget has to be actively used throughout the round, it's terrible.
See, the operators that P4 have been playing, they've all been those intel denial operators, or inversely, they can work as intel gatherers. Mozzie's a good example of that. Yeah, he denies information with those pests, but also gathers it if you end up getting one of the drones. The same with Solace. You deny information by being able to precisely plot where your opponents are coming from, but you also gather it by seeing where they come from too. In this case, he'll be back on mute for yet another attempt at Garage. Wolves, completing their cycle through the first 3 rounds, went to bedroom on the top floor, garage on the basement, bar on the middle floor. It looks to be the same so far. Unsuccessful for Wolves, though, on their second bedroom defense. MNM seem to have repeated the performance that we witnessed from them on Garage. Can they do it again on the same bomb site? Well, Rise, no more. Kiba barriers will persist, but all the others that he might generate over the remaining minute and 30 will be no more. First kill goes to MNM yet again.
And MNM are just doing a classic style of fishing right now by putting out the hook, waiting for something to move in the water, and then striking, right? They're getting all this information with the drones. Dukby phone call comes out. They might just get 2 free picks on the round.
Okay.
It's easy, isn't it?
The last couple rounds, Solotov has just been, well, he's been styling. I mean, what else can you say here? High flying, profiling, styling. He had that pick as well on this same bomb site from above, if you remember, when he did see the booty and then smacked that booty inside of Kitchen. Solotov now getting 2 entry picks. Another 5v3 advantage for Wolves. They had this in the previous round, and I know that we joked that it's probably the least secure lead in Rainbow Six, but MNM did not toss it away.
Now, in this time, again, there are only 30 seconds left, but they're taking every single second they can afford. They have 2 smokes on the side of Thermite. That's going to be important throughout this round. There are bulletproof cameras, but there's no ward on the board, and Solotov just keeps finding kill after kill.
Oh my, are we going to witness another flawless? Yes, we are. Suddenly, the action happens fast and furious. That is not the result that Wolves want on this bomb site so far. MNM have not surrendered a single death when they've attacked Garage. That is exceptional. 2 flawless rounds happening on the same bomb site. MNM find themselves in a position where they cannot lose this first half. That was the read from Solotov that I talked about, and yet another, both from similar situations.
Yeah, on the hedge drop as well. That's just unfortunate timing.
And I will say this, I don't know if it's just the lack of Solace, who will come out yet again, P4 1-5. Can he survive past the first minute of action? That's what we'll see. But
Yeah.
it honestly does seem like, at the moment, the drone game from MNM has steadily improved after that first round. Yeah, there was a bit of a backward slide in round number 3 on this exact bomb site, but that was because they didn't do what is a typical take of Bar Gaming, right? They hopped in, went for a quick plant, got out. I don't think we're going to see that again as we go back down to Bar and Gaming on the first floor, the last bomb site for Wolves on their defense, and it will mean that we have seen 3 of the 4 bomb sites. No kitchen.
I think you're correct. I mean, MNM so far, they've attacked... you are correct, in fact. Okay, you are correct because MNM, they've not attacked the same bomb site twice at all throughout this match, right? They go for a complete reverse of what they did the first time. So, for Master Bedroom, the first round, they attack Library. It fails. Next time, they go for Trophy instead on the Trophy Solarium side. Complete opposite take. For Basement, well, direct attack presence into the Kitchenette's control. That was the first round. Second round, they go top floor. They roam clear from top down. So, since they went for a rush direct attack on Bar, the first time they attacked it, we can safely assume they're going to go for a full-on map clear roam of a sort, like a more typical approach would be to this map. Now, they are bringing the same similar type operators, right? The floors to clear utility, the zero to gain information, and of course, utility and grenades, and they keep finding opening kill after opening kill with little to no effort from outside the building. That is Wolves' biggest issue right now. I'm not sure if they're the ones swinging or getting swung, but seeing as MNM have not entered the building yet, you have to assume Moki was trying to get aggressive in that round and therefore got punished.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's really easy to be an armchair analyst and look at the numbers on the left side of your screen and say, well, I mean, clearly the team's just not performing up to snuff. But it's not even that Shinka doesn't have a kill. It's not even that P4 and Rise combined for 2 kills between them. It's how they've died. Rise will die on roam. P4 will die on roam. They won't really shoot back. And despite the fact that information for Wolves is a major part of their strategy, it doesn't show up. They're not able to capitalize off of what they get. Is that an ineffectiveness with the Solus? I don't know, but now 2 are dead. Both Mowgli and Rise are gone. Yet again, another 5v3, but Bibu's still alive for but a moment. Tyrant takes him out of action. Solotov knows he has the pre-fire. Plenty of ammunition on the last bullet. He'll take P4 down. Shinka unable to find a single kill on that first half. MNM put the first 6 rounds in the books. They take 4 of them. And now I feel like you might have been a little off base when you said this is going to be an even match.
I mean, I'll defend myself, my honor, and say that this is Chalet defense for Wolves, which typically, now this is before Solus, we don't have numbers with Solus open really, Chalet typically is rather attacker favored. And the Solus didn't really get utilized that well as you spoke about, so that new operator didn't really change anything in that regard. But also, Solotov isn't making this a fair matchup, right? He's reading every scenario perfectly. Normally, it's based off his teammates droning for him, but in that round, he walked in through piano with no drones, no information. He still perfectly reads the player who snuck into office, pre-fires it, and takes down the opponent without even taking a single point of damage. It's not really fair, and it's Solotov, who we speak often about from MNM, thought stage 2 and stage 1 of EOL, but there's uses, I believe, in stage 3, the most recent one, that really was the quote-unquote star player, statistically at least, from this particular team. They're both showing up to great effect. Of course, Solotov more than uses so far, but overall MNM, as a team performance, are looking quite good so far.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Shall we talk about that first half? Let's do it. Tale of the tapes! 6 rounds in the books. Wolves winning rounds 1 and 3. MNM winning rounds 2, 4, 5, and 6. Rounds 2 and 4 for MNM were both on, or rounds 2 and 5. Apologies. Got my numbers mixed up.
It's okay.
Numbers don't lie, but sometimes I do when it comes to those numbers. Both were garage attacks from MNM Gaming. Both were flawless. The bomb site rotation for Wolves, bedroom up on the top floor, into garage in the basement, and bar on the main floor. There was no kitchen defense that we saw. MNM getting the diffuser down a couple of times, and Wolves only having a single round with an uncontested first blood, and that was all the way back in round number 1. There was a trade in round 3. Other than that, MNM starting things off with an entry kill, most of them in the column of Solotov.
Certainly did.
9 kills, by the way.
9 kills, but not into a pretty good stat line to have here. And I mean, this is gonna, as we kind of see, like, you know, give confidence throughout his defending half, and that's something that you need because to successfully defend Chalet, the easiest, if you will, is to hold off your opponent's entry points aggressively and stall for as much time as possible. Solotov, he's doing just that.
For what it's worth, Solotov has 9 kills. All of Wolves combined have 12, make that 13. Bibu walks in and actually takes out Solotov, who got a kill onto Mowgli. First blood still technically goes to MNM, but it is a trade.
Yeah.
I would call it a trade.
I'll call it a trade. It was responding pretty quickly. They cut him off guard. He couldn't run back anywhere. And it's also a worthy trade for Wolves because they shut down the most, you know, efficient fragger from the side of MNM, and they gain a bit of map control now, a bit of breathing, if you will. Now, this is a basement attack, so they gotta clear much more of the map so far, and MNM, they're holding on for as long as they can.
Nello retreats back down to the basement as we hit the halfway point of the first round of MNM Gaming's defense, 7th round overall. You've lost the Yana, and you've also lost the best gunner for Wolves.
Yeah.
But you've also lost the Oryx and the best gunner from MNM. So, I mean, in that sense, it's a wash in terms of ability, though I would say that Solotov has easily been the best person in this lobby. Oryx is able to move around the map very quickly, and on a bomb site like we see right now, which is garage down in the basement, if you want to be able to retake that top floor very quickly and be a thorn in the side of Wolves, that's the operator that's going to be able to do it. It'll hurt that MNM doesn't have him available.
No, then they do have lobby control for any sort of verticality that can be done by Wolves because of that mirror window inside of Dining. It means Wolves are able to blue stairs attack with main breach.
There's a flash that goes out. Multiple flashes go out. P4 walks in, removes the head of Uzis. He's got control of the bomb site. Down goes Shinka. MNM rebuffing this attack. Nello's still on the stairs. And he wipes them all out. MNM seem to be on even footing with Wolves, but they persevere in the end. And I don't know if it was Wolves just having a general lack of knowledge as to where those off-site players were, playing close enough to the bomb site, but technically not in it. And MNM will stretch their lead. They're now just 2 rounds away from putting Chalet in the books. This is their map, to be fair.
Yeah.
Wolves
And they're really good at it, too, like historically, that is.
Wolves will take a timeout, by the way. I think this is an appropriate time to do so. At least you got to see what the first part of the first or second half looked like.
Yeah, I mean, it's now or never, right? Because if you lose the next following round or any round of the next, like, 5 or so, you'll be forced into overtime in a best case scenario. You want to avoid that. I will say for that last round that we just saw in the basement attack for Wolves, they made the right call because they couldn't roam clear in time, didn't have enough map presence. They knew there was one person top floor, one person top dining with that mirror window. So 1 minute to deal with all of that map control, not doable. So they go for the most optimal play that isn't the best execute, blue stairs, main breach, fireplace stairs, and they basically trade 1 for 1, which isn't the best case scenario for them. They kind of swoop around the bottom side, they get in deep, but they don't get that initial control when Nelo was playing fireplace stairs. So Nelo, really being a pillar in the middle of it all, brought the round back with that double kill towards the end of the round. And Wolves, they can't really get any control that they want so far. And it really comes down to opening kills in most of these scenarios. If Wolves can get a shutdown onto Solotov and they get the opening kill, that can really change the tides around for them. Solotov is the only, I would say, super proactive, super aggressive player from the side of MNM who's actively fighting Wolves on the entry. So if he either stops doing that by getting shut down frequently enough, or if he just gets shut down period on the opening kill, then Wolves can do so much more with the time. And last round it was 1 for 1 trade, but Solotov did manage to eat away 1 minute and 20 seconds of the round, so even though he died, he still got a ton of value. Okay, just do that.
10 seconds into the round, and not long into his tenure on MNM Gaming. Nathan is taken out, running by a window. I believe it was Doki in the G2 Koi matchup who made some comment, Nick, about, you know, next person to get spawn peeked is a loser or something like that.
Yep.
I mean, it technically wasn't a spawn peek. I don't think Nafe was contesting that.
Nafe was trying to run away.
I think
you didn't want any of that.
He was trying to escape. And you know what that is? That's the second opening duel won by Wolves in this matchup. All the way back in round number 1 is how far you have to go to see the last time it happened. MNM holding aggressively above this Bar Gaming defense on the main floor.
So now we can talk that statistically Wolves, they got what they wanted and what they needed, right? They have half the map, or about a third of the map in full control of theirs. With a minute into the round, opening kill, Knave, Legion, active gadget, you know, they charge up throughout the round, has to put them down. Really good value here. But the most difficult part of this entire attack is what you're looking at right now. Clearing out the top blue stairs and chimney position, where the likes of Solotov and Uses will be playing to actively hold them away from achieving their goal. Now you have utility, flashbangs, 1 grenade left, Sophia soft breaches as well. So from the side of Wolves, they have every single tool they could possibly imagine, but they have to execute it correctly for this to work.
Still posted up inside of Library. Solotov watching ever so intently, but nobody from Wolves will give him an inch. Tyrant not too far away, playing at Chimney. Kiba barriers providing a good amount of protection to conceal him from the enemy. Down goes Nilo. MNM suffering yet another casualty.
A minute to go. Uses trying to make aggressor on the blue stairs, has to look for something. We speak about this. The 3v5, this is where things have to get aggressive or things will fall apart.
First kill for MNM in this round on the board. They are so close to match point, but they'll need to find a couple more kills. 4, in fact, in order to make it happen. 3, make that 2. Uses just guns down Shinka and Rise. Neither bother to look up. Now it's Mowgli's turn. Can he confront that high rate of fire in the Vector? Right now playing off the deployable shield. They'll flash out, but he's the victim of the flashes. Uses still tucked into Chimney. Keep in mind, Solotov is there. I don't know if they have the location of the Frost. Tyrant now descending the stairs. Mowgli with diffuser in hand going down. 20 seconds left. P4 covering through the hatch. He's the only set of eyes. He gets Solotov on the drop, but they know where he is. The jig is up. Timer will continue to run. Mowgli playing behind the bar. Impact nades go in, Mowgli jumps up, Uses another kill. He's been phenomenal so far. Now it's P4 to grab Uses. Tyrant will need to clutch out with diffuser down, but it's an escape from P4 back upstairs. Timer continuing to tick away. Does Tyrant have information? P4 back down the stairs. This is a game of cat and mouse at this point. Neither seem to be able to find each other, but Tyrant making a ton of noise drops, and P4 seals the deal, and no comeback from MNM will be had. A very impressive performance in the post plant by Wolves.
Yeah. It's not a clean round whatsoever, and a big blunder in the midst round where Uses would have enabled, or allowed rather, that double kill from the verticality above. But the 2 versus 3 was played beautifully. I assume that Wolves had information on the lobby side fireplace because no one was covering it. Mowgli was covering the hatch drop from bar from library instead. Got that initial kill, made it into a 2v2. But P4 playing the 1 versus 1, not even having to use his mouse at all. Doesn't even have to fire a single bullet. He baits the run up towards top floor for post plant, then walks back down the blue stairs. And the read, it's really good from MNM because they challenged it, but because the hatch up above inside a small box library was reinforced, that means that if the defender goes up, there's no easy way down besides the library hatch, which is not ideal because you're so far off the diffuser and you're going to be dropping into a less than ideal situation. So wonderfully played strategically from Wolves, but the mid round, we need to work on it. And with MNM choosing the dining kitchen bomb site, we have now seen all 4 bomb sites being played out, as Wolves themselves did not opt to go for this bomb site a single time on their first 6 defensive rounds.
I always want to call you out when you say, we need to do this. I know that you're speaking on behalf of the team, but I always want to say, like, you know you don't play. Anyway,
I'm engaged watching.
No, you don't. You're not on the team.
You know that meme where it's like you have like a coach, like a social media manager person or whatever, and like they like celebrate the team. They're like, you're not in the team, bro. You know, it's one of those. It's like you think you're so cool, you're involved, but it's like you're not even in the team, man. I guess that's me.
Let him know.
Let him know?
You let him know, yeah, tell him.
I think if I asked Wolves, I could be like an imaginary member of their team. I think they would accept me, actually. Because Shinka and I, we're tight. We're gonna jersey swap. You know that? Who are you jersey swapping with, Parker? Who are you tight with?
So,
nobody?
It's a hell of a lot of copium that you're...
It's not copium.
That you're sucking on there, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd play for Wolves. Sure thing, man.
You're not gonna answer my question. Who are you gonna jersey swap with?
I'm about to become the starting point guard.
Do you even have a jersey?
Raptors.
Oh, that's right. You don't have a jersey. You're just a caster.
That's all you are now, too. Rise, dropping the Candelas, tossed on in. It's a Solarian take, but MNM are aware of this. Wolves going for broke.
What?
MNM have pushed them back fully. And it was Rise outside. Look at his face. He knows it. There was that look of total and utter defeat. Not going to happen. Not even a single kill. MNM, their third flawless round. Diffuser surrendered by that window and trophy. And MNM Gaming moved to match point. A valiant effort from Wolves. I liked it. We saw the same style of that risky, incredibly quick, get in, fight your way out play from MNM earlier in the matchup. Wolves tried their hand at it. It did not work. And that's a hell of a time to do it, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly at this point it shows that Wolves are still in this mentally. They're allowing themselves and being okay with taking these high-risk situations despite being down pretty badly here. And you spoke about Rise's facial expression. I mean, it sucks to be that person who has to be ying on a window rappel, not even in the fray of the battle, right? You're just chalking in your Candelas to blind the opponent, create some chaos, and hope that your team succeeds in the mission at hand. All 4 members die, it's not even close, and you have to just be like, well, I guess it's my turn to die now. You walk towards the nearest entrance to the building, and immediately you die too, and it's a flawless loss. It is mentally a frustrating and difficult thing to deal with, and it is a best of 3. Wolves do have 2 more maps to fight on, but this is not the chalet nor the opening showcasing that they wanted from this event.
So the first kitchen defense that we saw as well, and it ends up in catastrophe. And now with the matchup on the line, it's Spawn Peak City, baby, and Ubisoft, newly elected mayor. Down goes P4. Solotov also looking for a Spawn Peak, but could not find one. Wolves will be quick to open up the breach. There goes the exothermic charge, but all that said, you've lost your buck. But secondary gadget goes down with him. EE1D expended to try and catch Solotov. Rise cannot connect. Solotov relocates, and no way. No way he's going to try this.
It's a madman.
Oh no. Oh no. No. But Solotov still wins it. A defeating performance for Rise. Wolves realize now MNM in that very familiar spot that Wolves have been unable to overcome before, which is the 5v3 that we've seen about 4 times so far in this map, Nick.
Yeah. I mean, P4, rough time here. They note that the buff on P4 did not have the secondary heartbeat gadget, so they don't lose that, but they do lose Mowgli as well. So a 2 versus 5 now for Bibu and Shinga, trying to clutch it up to go further into Chalet.
Shinka might end his very first map here at SI 2023 without a single kill. It would be quite defeating and not good for the mental of this team. A minute and a half to go. This round all but over at this point, barring a miracle for Wolves. You want to build suspense, but you also want to be a little bit honest. And at this point, honesty would suggest that Wolves have one hell of a job ahead of them. And MNM showing excellent patience. Suppressors will make it quieter, but you'll still hear the gun.
Yeah, I mean, there's no drones for Wolves either. We're just walking around with Shinga and Bibu looking for kills, and MNM, they're not handing it to them. They're playing it patiently, as they should.
Tracers go over the head of Shinka, but a bit of a delay onto the Legion of Nello. Cannot connect. Not even a single point of damage done to Nello, actually. The only thing that really helped Wolves was that they had an abundance of time, but Tyrant will ensure that Shinka walks out of this matchup without a single kill. 3 flawless rounds so far, a 4th flawless within the grasps of MNM, and well, they close their fingers around it. 7-3 on their map to take a 1-0 lead in the series. MNM absolutely stomping Wolves with a great team effort.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful bait there in as well by Nello. He ran past the angle, and when he was shot at, well, that's when Ty went for the flank there. MNM looks like the better team playing together, and honestly, it's a good look for them. I think a lot of teams, they are doubting them for this event and favoring Wolves in this matchup, but MNM, they're proving those haters wrong.
I mean, it was MNM in the EUL finals a couple months ago.
It was.
Toppled Wolves 7-2 and 7-3. And it's yet another 7-3. Wolves have some work to be done before we go to Clubhouse in just a couple minutes for map number 2. We'll see you in a sec.